Hello, role-playing people, and in this episode of the podcast, we'll be taking a look at the Faustian faction for Demon the Fallen. It's easy to see them as some kind of shepherds who seek to guide and unlock humanity's potential, and especially because of certain literary works which have been around for centuries, to see them as fulfillers of dreams or tempters and testers of humanity's moral fabric and strength of being. But I assure you, they are far from caring or kind to the mortals they live among. What Faustians are, abusers of humanity's divinity. Unlike the other factions, they really observed what was happening during their time in the pit, and noticed that humanity has the power to pull some of them out of hell itself and back into the world of mortals. Where the reticent cryptic would have said, "Okay, wait, let's see what this actually means before we make any rash decisions," Faustians said, so the microscopic fragment of divinity inside of mortals is working just fine, and while it certainly is not much individually, imagine what we could do if we had more of them, an army of them, if we could somehow get all mortals to lend us their faith and act in unison towards our cause. That would certainly pack a punch against the giver. For you see, very much like the delusional reconciler traitors who still believe the giver is around, the petty Faustians want to harness humanity's collective potential. Get this, not to redeem this dying world, to heal and restore its many, many layers, or to undo the curses that have been bestowed upon both rebels and mortals. Oh no, they want to use it to destroy God. And how do they go about it? Well, empowering humanity is their preferred method, though not for love as Luciferans would insist, but simply to have a bigger and stronger weapon, to have potent mortals who can wield lores and use their faith to the Faustians' goals. But there is a huge risk here that I'm sure wiser members of this faction can plainly see. A powerful weapon, if handled incorrectly, can blow up in your face. Though they might make pacts with mortals, though they might empower their thralls and simply use the others as what can safely be called an energy source, they cannot afford to truly enlighten and awaken humanity, because if humanity itself were to become aware of its divine potential, of the fact that mortals can shape reality according to their own designs, and they are not just helpless prey for the creatures of darkness, then both Faustians and every other faction would become obsolete in the long run. If humans have no use for their gifts, if demons don't hold the upper hand in this relationship, who's to say mortals won't forget, banish, or enslave the fallen to their own desires? Certain events that happened in the pit do show this is entirely possible, and the fallen can suffer at the hands of humans, especially the awakened ones, the enlightened ones, and that is something to be avoided at all costs. So Faustians want healthy, happy humans for the same reason a rancher wants healthy, happy cattle, or for the same reason a soldier keeps his weapon clean and well oiled, and that is because they need their tools functional. Not tending to them now only means trouble further down the line, so a certain degree of care and affection is always necessary, especially if you want to persuade them to willingly fight for your cause, but honesty or love is really not required. Inspiration is often more potent than intimidation, yes, but in truth, their little mortal sacks of faith don't need to be happy or healthy to have their potential drained out of them and used against the giver. They need not even walk about too much. So the Faustian way is the way of abuse and deception, very much against Luciferan doctrine. They aim to culminate this deception and abuse in a final act of destruction, the destruction of the giver and the loyal host, or so they say. Should that happen against all odds, should the Faustians win, well, the other factions will be completely powerless against the collective faith of millions of mortals, and will either be enslaved or destroyed, while the Faustians will rule reality, reshaping it into whatever they please. But what will become of humanity? Well, once there is no one to challenge these demons, they can treat humanity any way they want to ensure that mortals don't ever awaken to their true potential and overthrow their fallen masters. If you've seen the movie Matrix, I imagine it's a lot like how the machines treat their batteries. And humanity will be so lost and mistreated it won't even have enough thoughts and awareness left to realize its soul, its spark of divine potential and ability to shape reality according to its will. It sold that for easy hacks, quick fixes, and parlor tricks. No matter how they present it, no matter how many literary commercial stunts or cinematographical PR campaigns they throw around in their attempts to deceive and romanticize making a pact, they are abusers, vengeful and petty abusers who always take more than they give, and give only enough that you think you're special and awakened and empowered, when in fact, you are completely under their control. Thank you very much for listening. This is perhaps the darkest take I have on the Faustians, but I do hope you enjoyed it. Take care, have fun, and don't forget to play.